Hi everybody, it's nearly the end of 2020, so I thought I'd make one final video summarising all of the fine art photography resources from both Joel the Master and from myself. Roll the intro. Now obviously 2020 has been a very difficult and different year, but some people have taken that opportunity to obviously stay at home and learn a new skill, and that includes fine art photography and the editing of said images. So I thought what I would do is, because I've been busy this year and Joel has also been very busy creating videos and tutorials, I thought it's worthwhile just summarising all of the information out there at the end of the year. People ask me a lot of my videos, oh, have you covered this? And I get the same sorts of questions over and over again, and I say, have you seen my video on this? Have you seen Joel's video on that? So I thought, why not just make one video which covers absolutely everything? This is how my brain comprehends a lot of information, so visually I just find it a lot easier just to set it all out on one big board. This is obviously quite a lot of information just from Joel on the left hand side and me on the right hand side. You've got an ebook, then you've got paid tutorials which are available on Joel's website. The green is anything that is on Joel's YouTube channel. Blue, everything is on my YouTube channel, is free. And I've got some more videos coming in the future. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to give each one 30 seconds roughly, and you'll get a better idea of what is available both on Joel's website and on YouTube. Right, let's get into the list. The first item on the resource list is an ebook. The rest of them are videos. The From Basics to Fine Art ebook is what I would recommend to anybody that prefers to get their content from a book rather than a video. This book is co-written between Julia and Joel. Julia is the first half and Joel is the second half. It's fully packed with images and descriptions of equipment and processing, etc, etc. So if you're looking for a book, that is the only one, in fact, that I would recommend. If you are also completely new to this genre and you would like a video which takes you from the beginning to the end, the entire workflow, then I would highly recommend the Next Level Fine Art Photography. Joel has teamed up with Photo TV to co-present this video with Mark Ludwig, which works perfectly. Mark asked Joel all of the questions that we would ask if we had the opportunity. This video series takes you through the theory, preparation for taking the fine art photographs, a step-by-step tutorial out in the field capturing the image, and a complete walkthrough of the post-processing. If you purchase this video, it also comes with a €50 voucher for the Pro Image Editors team, which is the selection service that Joel has teamed up with. More on that a bit later. The next item on the list, Advanced Masking Class. This is a new video as of 2020. Joel shows us his unique process for making complex selections using examples of skies, buildings, flowers, and even the feathers on a bird. His process is different to what you may already know about luminosity masks and other automated selection methods. Joel has created a completely new method for creating hard masks that you won't find anywhere else. The next video we're going to talk about is Mastering Long Exposure Photography. Published in 2017, this collaboration video tutorial concentrates on why and how Joel creates his long exposures, including the equipment that he uses, settings, and the mistakes to avoid. It comes with an 80-page ebook and a luminosity action set for Photoshop. The next video is the Black and White Speed Workflow. Published in late 2014 and again a collaboration with Photo TV, this video covers the main concept and principles of how to edit black and white fine art images. Joel's workflow, which he calls ISGM, is a method of processing black and white images to create presence and essentially control which part of the images you want to accentuate and which parts of the images you want to draw less attention. This video series covers the importance of making selections, gradients, and how he post-processes the images to create the final outcome. This video expands upon and replaces Joel's original black and white long exposure masterclass alongside the Next Level Fine Art Photography video series. No specialist software is required to follow Joel's workflow, simply a good understanding of Photoshop. The Fine Art Color Workflow. Now, this video was made a few years ago, but everything in that video still stands, although Joel doesn't use the Artisan Pro panel to create those color images. Since making that tutorial, Joel has developed the panel which does split toning, and it's also got color grading in the 2021 update. But the Fine Art Color Workflow video talks you through the principles of adding color, why you add color, how to add color, and it's not just a case of if you use this tool you'll get this result. It's talking about the principles and the theory of why you might add color. So that is still 100% relevant regardless of whichever tools you use to create color images. The Exploring Vision, also published in 2014, this video series concentrates on the decision making before you create the image. It covers composition, selecting the right image, how to sculpt the light and shadows, and the vision for the post-processing of an image. Like most of Joel's videos, this will have unique content not found anywhere else. Now if you go into Joel's YouTube channel and you scroll back through time, you will find some original Artisan Pro tutorials, which he's numbered 1, 2, 3 and 4. They do give you a gist of how to use the Pro Panel, but they're not very well narrated, and I think you will agree, they don't fully tell you how to use the software. So subsequent to that, he has run, in 2020, an Artisan Pro Panel webinar, which was live, and now the recording has been saved onto YouTube. So he did a beginner series, and he also did the exact same webinar again, but with some advanced features. So once again, that was a live webinar which has been uploaded to YouTube. This year, Joel has also created an in-depth Quick Mask Pro Panel webinar tutorial. Once again, this was a live webinar between Joel and some of his students, and it has been saved, the recording has been saved and uploaded to YouTube. If you've got very clean, defined skies, then you might be able to use the Quick Mask Pro Panel to do so. If it's a very difficult sky selection, then you might be looking at using Joel's advanced masking techniques. And then finally, at the end of 2020, Joel has updated his Artisan Pro Panel, which is called the Pro 2021. Joel had a live webinar on that, once again with his students. The recording has been saved, and now that has been uploaded to YouTube. So you'll find that as the most recent video on his channel as I make this video. Alright, I think Joel's hogging the limelight a bit too much in my own videos, so let's move on to my content. Right, let's talk about me for a bit. I started my fine art journey by jumping on a plane and going to Glasgow for a couple of days to see some of the buildings I've been staring at on the internet for too long now. So this video here, I went to Glasgow for a few days, and quite simply this video is about my journey of traipsing around Glasgow and taking photographs of buildings, and I talk you through some of the settings and compositions as I do so. And because life just kind of got in the way, I actually spent a year and a half editing all the photographs that I took in Glasgow to finally create my fine art editing tutorial, which has been my most popular video to date. So this video here talks you through the old manual workflow of editing fine art images. In this video, I didn't claim to have created anything. I 100% credited Joel and Julia in their ebook, and I told everyone to go and buy their ebook. And then subsequently, this video became very popular, and it's got a lot of principles about how I approach fine art photography. But I think most importantly, people wanted to see how I made selections and how I edited the images, which I took you through step by step. The next video I made, because everybody's always asking about selections. How do you go about making your selections? First step of that is, when I look at an image, which area of the photographs do I want to select in the first place? So this video was quite simply me telling you how I approach the selections in a photograph before I even start editing. The next video was more questions about how do you make your selections? How do you make your selections? This video is essentially about using the pen tool and using a whole host of Windows and Photoshop shortcuts to speed up your workflow. I also edited somebody else's fine art image in that video. Then I started to really get to grips with the Artisan Pro Panel, and I teamed up with Joel to create an Artisan Pro Panel tutorial, because at that point Joel hadn't done any of his webinars which you see on his YouTube channel now. So at that point there was literally no literature or material to help people use the Artisan Pro Panel. At the same time, I became aware that Joel had set up an external resourcing of your selections. So that was not a promotional video as such. I used this service on an image which I had a lot of trouble selecting the sky on the Millennium Bridge in London. So quite simply, if you're really not interested in making selections, and that's the part of this genre that you find difficult, you can outsource your selections to somebody else, but still feel like an artist, because the artistry is how you manipulate those selections in Photoshop afterwards. On the topic of creating selections, Joel also has a plugin called the Quick Mask Pro Panel. So once I started to get to learn how to use that, Joel was helping me out understand how to use the Quick Mask Pro to its full potential. I created an introduction tutorial on that also, which Joel has subsequently done in a webinar in a lot more detail. And he created the software, so he knows his way around it a lot more than I do. In these videos, I do say that I will create follow-up tutorials. Now the problem with that is Joel has now done those tutorials, so I don't need to. Joel's videos Yes, he knows that they go on for too long. These are literally 2 or 3 hours long each, and the Quickmaster Pro panel and the Artisan Pro webinar. They go on for a long time, but all of the information in Joel's mind is in those videos. It would be disingenuous of me to take that information and squash it down to a 15 or 20 minute tutorial, because Joel has already given you that information. So I'm not going to follow up on the Artisan Pro panel tutorial or the Quickmaster Pro panel with any further tutorials until something new comes out of it that Joel hasn't already created. And last but not least, I do have some more fine art content coming up, but I do need to get to London to see some sexy architecture in order to really make some good videos. So I will make those videos as soon as I'm allowed. Right, that is it. I am done for another year. Hopefully you found something on this list that you didn't even know existed, and it's opened your eyes to a new resource. Thanks to Joel for helping me out with this long list. And don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next year.